coffee house chats to hard to swallow conversations.
Join our journey as we document our everyday thoughts on personal growth, career,
finances, family, and everything in between.
Hey, this is Reynard.
And this is Nika. And welcome to our perspectives. Hey everyone, this is Veronica.
And this is Reynard.
And this is
Perspectives.
Alright, so first
episode.
Very first episode actually.
Not really. We filmed one before. We filmed two before.
Oh yeah, in one go, right?
Should we release that?
No.
Why?
Well, didn't have videos.
Oh,
It was just
yeah.
really us sitting down. We were
That's
just
true.
in PJs, so.
But that was edited already, right?
No,
No, it wasn't.
I don't think
Okay.
so. Yeah,
Alright,
I don't
cool.
even remember what you were talking about. Like,
Yeah, I don't. Let's just reuse it then.
yeah, recycle the topic.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, how was your day so far?
It's good. Had a lot of meetings.
You woke up so early.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we woke up early.
I went back to sleep.
Yeah, I
It
went
doesn't
back
count.
to sleep. Yeah, but had meetings. And yeah, it's usually my mornings is meetings at this point.
Mhm.
And then just talking to people.
Oh yeah, you're free in the afternoon. No?
Yeah, that's why we're doing this.
That's true.
Yeah, how about you? How was your morning?
Well,
Sleep.
yeah, most of it was asleep. Yeah, because I woke up very early with you. Was it 5 or 6:30?
5:30.
Yeah,
Yeah.
5:30 to join the meeting. But yeah, I was already decided to go back to sleep after like. Yeah.
I would have too, but I had another call. So like, you know.
Oh, you usually go back to sleep, right?
Yeah.
After that
If
call.
it's
Yeah. Yeah.
Hopefully our clients are not watching this kid. No, it's fine. That's part of like our
Yeah.
what we're
Trying
used
to-
to
yeah.
already as well,
Mhm.
right? And like what we kind of like do.
Mhm.
Like we even stayed up until like 1 a.m. for other meetings.
I would have preferred like I actually would want to try like being a morning person. But then last night was like more we were up late. I think we
Yeah.
slept like 2 a.m. and stuff.
1 a.m.
Oh my
Because
god.
of meetings also.
Yeah. And we were out most of the day, so I had to like finish all my tasks and stuff during
Yeah.
the night.
Right.
Yeah.
So
that was the day.
yeah.
Well, for today's episode, we're gonna talk about, in a couple setting or in a relationship, who should be earning more, and yeah, who should be earning more.
Yeah. So
In
I
our
gue-
experience right now.
Yeah, but we have our experience, but then I guess preface to that is most people think, or like what's the standard?
It's like a societal standard, I guess. Like it's a
Yeah.
norm that
Yeah.
it should be the men, right?
You're gonna have the feminists attack us. Kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a societal norm.
Can't get
kind of
away
thing.
from that, right?
Yeah.
That really is kind of
Uh-uh.
the expectation.
I
And of
think
course, there's
like,
things like the
maybe
wage
just a
gap.
question. Like
Mm.
for you as a man, do you have that expectation that I'm the father, or I'm the man in the family. I should be like earning a lot for everyone. Does it seem like it's already your responsibility to do so? Aren't you like questioning like why isn't my wife earning as much?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, no, I don't think so. I think no. I know. The answer is no for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think gender doesn't really play a role, at least for me
Mhm.
personally. But
Mhm.
I don't know about others, and I guess that's the conversation, right? Like
That's true.
the society push certain people
Mhm.
to want to think like that. But for me, no. I think it's just like part of me just wants to make sure, even if I were female, right? I think naturally I still would want to earn more to support people around me and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But then that becomes a question like, it's tough because I guess if you're a female, because of societal norms, you end up being in a position where you probably can't be earning more, right? I mean, not only societal norms, but there's of course clear things like, the wage gap, things like that, opportunities,
Yeah.
that is clearly plays a factor in how you think.
Yeah. I think that was something that I didn't really realize before. I grew up in a family where my mom, she was working. My grandma, she was also the one earning for the family. And so, like, to me, it seemed normal that women work and they earn, right? So, like, it didn't really appear to me that there was inequality before. And all the women in my family were strong. Like, they're actually the most, like, I would say, vocal people.
Mhm.
Like they would really stand up for their rights. They would really tell me na ay sugot nga kon ra ka, diba? Ano ba? So yeah, it was really my mom who pushed me to do that. Like if I sleep late at like for school stuff, she would really go charge in school and tell me, hey, you're not doing this right. Why are you like overworking the students and stuff like that? With my grandma even. Yeah, so it really appeared to me na it was up until I became a mom. Like you know, I think I really had that expectation, of course, of also because of how we were brought up, that it should be the mom who's doing the like responsibilities at home, like making sure that you know, the child's taken care of and stuff like that. And so like it was then I realized, oh, this is where it creates that gap, because we have to like dedicate time on like household stuff and the kids. That kind of like pulls time for work, right? So yeah, I just realized that then. So that creates the norm of, okay, then because I don't have time for work, I should just stay at home.
Yeah.
And so the man should just do your work.
Yeah, but do you think that's right?
Well, I feel like it's not that it's wrong or right, that it really depends on you. If I want to like work for money and to also support the family, then it is already in our discussion. How should we go about this? Of course, we can't just leave the kids in the house, right? So since both of us are going to be working, we then have to discuss on, okay, who's going to take care of the kids, who's going to cook the food, who's going to yeah. So that's when understanding and communication comes in.
Right. But what if so I guess that's the key part, right? The communication. Because like, but what do you think if you're in a situation, let's say someone out there is in a situation where the husband is not as interested to be the one earning more and would rather be a bit more chill, or you know.
Well, there are actually relationships that work like that, you know. I'm not sure if it's just a joke, but my brother, my brother would actually tell me now, if his wife was earning as much, he'd be okay to just stay at home and take care of the kids, and he'd like massage his wife every night when she comes home, kind of thing. She's okay with that.
There's that meme, right?
Yeah. If your wife earns $500,000 a year. Yeah. So I think it really depends on the chemistry or the compatibility of people, right? That comes in. So I'm the type of person, of course, that I like how we're both ambitious. We have the same drive. We have the same passion. Not really passion, but I guess just, you know, the passion to create and build stuff and get things done. And that was one of the things that clicked for us, right? And so it kind of doesn't like, I feel like if I met a guy who didn't really have the same passion or drive, it wouldn't sit well with me, right? So it just it's not that it's wrong, but it's more of like, it's just not my type. Yeah, I couldn't see a relationship in that. I feel like I would feel like I'm alone in my dreams, kind of thing. It doesn't make sense, right? Do you get it? Yeah. So but there are actually relationships that would work like that. I guess they would see it as a love language now. Their husbands are taking care of the household, you know, taking care of the kids, and especially if they're really great at it, right?
Yeah.
So there's nothing wrong with it.
What if they're not great at it?
Okay, so
what if they're just lacking? Okay, that's already.
That's another problem.
Yeah, but how do you have a conversation then? Like, let's say some people watch this, or like, I feel like, you know, I think the push and pull in a situation like this usually, especially without the communication, it's like you feel like the other is not doing enough in the relationship, In this case, that happens in many aspects. There's the love side even, there's the caring, and there's, of course, the providing aspect.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I actually see this happening in a lot of like couples and relationships, husbands and wives. So like let's just say, for example, you're earning more and I do not have a job. I'm taking care of the house and taking care of the kids, and although I know that you're working, just because I'm in the house more, I could see what you're not contributing in terms of chores.
Right.
In terms of so I will know what you're not working on, and you, because you're not at home a lot, you don't see what needs to be done at home as much as I do. You could also there's a possibility that you'll be seeing what I'm also not doing in terms of like monetary support.
Yeah.
Right. Like, why is this girl not working?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I could also have that feeling. That's actually where, again, where communication comes in. Like you guys really have to see the value of what you guys are putting on the table. Although I'm not giving monetary support, in that case, I'm like keeping the house clean. I'm cooking you guys food. I'm like taking care of the kids, making sure everyone's done their homework, kind of thing. So there's value in there because that's time. If you had to do both, and I'm just sitting around, then that's where the problem comes, right? That's where the problem comes in.
Yeah. So I think I agree for sure. Like it's really just properly communicating the expectation from each other. Because I think that's where people feel a lot of like, oh, he or she is not doing this, because you internally are expecting something from your partner, but since you don't communicate it, they don't know that that's what you're actually expecting. So it's not that your expectation is right or wrong, it's that they just don't know, right? So example, like you said, like example, if I'm the one earning more, then my expectation internally is that maybe you want to earn, even if the relationship ideally is balanced, like you're doing at home, I'm doing the work stuff, but since I have an expectation that you're supposed to also do the work stuff, and I didn't tell you that, like there's that gap between what you're seeing and what you're expecting. And it also goes the other way, where you're expecting me to do house stuff, but like I'm doing the work stuff, so you feel like you're not giving. I'm not giving enough to you, or in the relationship, right? So you gotta just talk, right? But like, how do you? I guess, what do you think is the best way to open a conversation like that, especially for people who maybe don't really talk about it? Example for us, maybe if you think about us and like when was the first times that we've had conversations like that?
Yeah, I do remember. I did feel a lot of imbalance during the first few months of Saiza, like Saiza the baby. So
your
so
pregnancy basically. First 4 months of you giving birth.
Yeah, no, after giving birth.
Giving birth. Yeah. During.
So,
It's a long birth.
So, I wasn't working at that time, and you were. Although I see, like, during the first few weeks, I saw that you didn't really had a lot of sleep because you also had to take care of me. So, but after the whole that whole nightmarish phase, you were already working like in a stable time, and I was already with Saiza with that whole cadence already. I guess I started feeling like, why is this dude not helping with like Saiza stuff as much as I am? So I did start feeling that way, but I think the big helper is that I did accept and I was at peace that I was feeling that way. I didn't deny it. Like, I feel that way, and if I deny it, it will create some sort of friction inside me, and it will just bottle me up, and I'll probably get mad at you one day, and you just be like, question marks, like, what's going on, right? And that's where a bigger fight could happen, because you didn't know what's going on, but to me, there's like a whole lot of situation coming, right? So For you, so like when I'm already at peace and like accepting of what I feel, that's when I should be communicating to you.
Mm-hmm.
And although it could easily be an attack, like you could easily perceive it as an attack when I tell you na I feel like you're not helping me as much. That's also where the work comes in sa not really opposing side, but on the other party, right? Why? Why do you feel that way? And that's when you also share, like, why do you feel that? I mean, why do you feel like it's not exactly what's happening?
Yeah, I think, yeah, for sure, like, the key part is, 9 times out of 10 you're gonna feel like it's an attack. Like it's hard to avoid that feeling, even for us. Like, although I would say we're doing a lot better at it.
Yeah.
So much better, like too good. Joke. There's of course times in the past where you feel like it's an attack because of course you again have expectations and you have certain kind of thoughts already going in your head, especially if you don't talk about it. Like those
you don't
thoughts
talk about it right away.
You're like kind of marinating it in your head. It's like, oh, she's doing this because she doesn't
Yeah,
this
you
and
already
that. You're
have,
these situations in your head. You're like playing it out. All of these things. What you're thinking already about what they might be thinking that's creating bad action. You're assuming there's bad intent.
Yeah.
Right.
For example, like actually the times where it really is like a whole lot of situation in my mind already when I try to reason out for you. Like, oh, I feel this way. He'll probably say this and that, and that's only a reason for me not to tell you because I kind of concluded what you're going to say already. I made an assumption of what you're going to say already. So it just ends up being bottled up. And because I do not exactly know what you're going to say, I'll just keep asking myself and just answering myself again.
Right.
And yeah, it'll just create a much more like huge build-up.
Yeah, it's like you already decided what the outcome of the conversation is in your head before you reached out.
Yeah.
So in that case, though, I think that's why it's important that in cases like that, you also have to be aware that could happen to both sides. Like even no matter how emotionally stable you think you are, like you're gonna have a moment like that. So what's important and how we've at least me personally, is expecting that that's gonna happen both ways and understanding that foundationally there is really no bad intent between each other.
That's true.
It's just like there's a lot of mental and emotional kind of battle that happens in a person's mind before it happens. So like for me, when situations like that come up, I always tell myself that no one in the relationship really has the intent to hurt each other.
Yeah.
Unless there really is intent, then call the police or something. So but 9 times out of 10, these misunderstandings are of assumptions and lack of clear expectation.
Yes.
So by understanding that sometimes conversations like that will start with the wrong expectations and wrong assumptions, so at least you can give each other the benefit of the doubt.
That's true.
And at least you start a conversation that you kind of like it's easier for you to accept what's being thrown at you without feeling like shit, this person really hates me or like is always thinking bad of me, because you also have to accept that people emotionally sometimes can't take a certain situation and will get it out a certain way that makes it feel like an attack, but that's really just them venting out in the situation. But bigger picture, they don't really intend or feel most times again that way, or they don't see you that way. Because I think one of the things that happens when those conversations happen is you start generalizing, and this is where counting happens, right? Like when someone tells you, hey, why didn't you wash the dishes today or something? Why are you always working and stuff, you don't help me? It's like, and your mind automatically is like, 2 days ago I washed the dishes, 3 days, not to wash, maybe 3 days ago I sweep the floor.
Classic our community conversations.
4 days ago I did the laundry. Why are you calling me out on the dishes, right? So it's like one situation, your mind just blows it up into like you generalize that the other person is calling you out on everything, when really the person is hurt about one specific situation, and your goal is to understand why.
It's pretty hard, It's pretty hard to like also not feel like it's unfair.
Yeah, the unfair is a big again, because it's again about assumptions and missing expectations, right? So you really just gotta, like you said, understand that that's going to happen, and understand the dynamic of when it happens, so that when it does happen, you're less likely to react negatively, right? So but there are also, I think, ways to avoid it in general, meaning like, in a situation like that, example, when you were going through that period of like feeling like it's unfair and stuff, even I felt like it was unfair, but like I think I didn't get to kind of like, it didn't get out of me that much because I understood or something. Of course, you're more emotional with the pregnancy and all. So for me, I think a key part of that dynamic in that time was, in that situation, was that I was able to, be mindful enough, I guess, to remind you that, what you're doing is impactful, right?
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that it could go one way where you as the person feeling it must be aware of what's happening and like all this and that. But you receiving it also can actually be proactive and avoid situations completely when you feel like there's a potential situation that will cause some imbalance in what you guys feel. You can already preempt it and be like, hey, I know you feel like either of us is not doing enough or something, but you remember that, what you're doing in that case, the pregnancy stuff is, or the birth stuff is, how you're providing for Saiza in the time is already a very big part of us as a family, right? So you as the person on the other side of the equation can already kind of like, or let the other person feel like that isn't really an issue. Because, and like clear their self-doubt as to where they kind of like can provide and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, and I think like in the communication side, like in the technicalities of how you converse or how you communicate, there's also ways to kind of avoid the situation from happening. Like for example, instead of me saying that, hey, why didn't you wash your dishes? I could have just said, I could have asked you how you're doing, maybe like, are you tired? Can you wash the dishes for me?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So just asking kind of already like asks for an explanation of why, right? So if I ask you, can you wash the dishes, and you're probably tired, you'll probably tell me that, oh, I can't right now, I'm probably tired. Can you do it for me?
For sure.
Yeah.
But that's the key part, right? Because most people, if you ask me, most people who don't really, who are more heated or something, you ask, can you wash the dishes for me? And you're like, I'm like, oh no, he's making me feel bad. You can have, again, the whole having assumptions and expectations inside your head without communicating. So like you said, it's very important that you tell them exactly what you feel. Like, hey, I couldn't wash the dishes today because actually, I have a lot of work. Is that okay with you? So I think communicating, are you both okay with that, and the reasons why is super important. Because if not, if you don't ask, are you okay with that? It's like, oh no, I'm too busy. It's like if you end it there, it's like, it's like that. You as a person, of course, you're like, wow, like, you don't have context as to why you feel like they're just pushing off and stuff. So I think the most important piece is mutual understanding of why both take certain actions without defending, all these things, right?
So to add, who should be earning more?
Wow, we're so far. Who should be earning more? So I guess it goes back to that lesson that we ended up on, which is having healthy expectations and assumptions of each other, right?
So basically, it's just who could earn more.
Yeah, who could earn more, and who wants to earn more, and who wants to earn more. I think that's it for sure. Not who could, because I think it's like the could can be either person.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But what if the other person is happier in a certain situation?
Yeah, that's true.
And so who wants to earn more? Plus, where does it make sense in the relationship right now? Right? Because let's
considering
say,
all the responsibilities that a
exactly.
relationship and a family entails.
Yeah, because for example, let's say the wife is earning a lot more than the husband, but since the wife enjoys cooking, she's like, oh, I'm gonna quit my job, I'll cook. Then you have 3 kids and you have all these financial responsibilities.
That's when the conversation comes.
So so the conversation has to come in. Although one person wants it, individually want, there's also a group want, as a relationship. What do you guys want? Do you guys want to you want your wife to spend more time cooking, enjoying her passion, but of course that you're going to sacrifice some buying power as a family because the dad or the husband is not earning as much right now. So, but if you're okay with that and you're okay with those consequences and the results of that decision, then why not?
Yeah.
So it's like a want as a group, but you have to have the conversation, right? And have a healthy conversation and expectation of what comes out of that. And you can't have those conversations in your head alone. Because if you do, that's really where it's like, you start assuming things,
That's where we're also, like, I'm just realizing right now, that's where we're also kind of lucky to have, like, found each other. It's because we kind of have the same thought process behind these things. It's like we both wanted to earn more, and of course, because we both are like working already and busy with business and stuff. We also know that we also understand that we should be looking for ways on how to also support the household and those other stuff, and not just monetary.
Yeah.
And so it was easy for us to converse because our minds think the same way.
Right. And I think that also is that question, like once you have these conversations, it actually becomes easier to earn more as a group because, example for us, that was at first we had that conversation of like, of course we wanted to earn together and like all these things be equal, but then clearly, sometimes in a relationship and a person's journey and personal path, right? Sometimes there's more opportunity right in front of someone just not because of your relationship, not because one is better than the other, but individually, the person might have just spent more time experience or there's some luck involved or whatever it is. So it's like that conversation has to be had to take advantage of whatever opportunities are in front of you as much as possible. And because you do that, it allows for everyone to earn more. Because for a more concrete example, if I had an opportunity to work on a certain venture business that would generate more income, but that means I would spend lesser time doing certain things at home. Like, if we really tried to force equality in the relationship, like, we have to earn equal and stuff like that, we won't be able to kind of like get that opportunity, right? But since we had a good conversation, we're understanding of why it's like that, and like we're accepting of it, then we decided that the fact that you're taking time in the household, the family, and saving me time is actually a form of earning for the family. Because if you didn't save me time, then I could not have time to take the opportunity anyway. So we still are the ones together earning that.
Yeah.
It's just in different, in a different currency.
Yeah, it's really important to see each other, like see this whole thing as a team.
Yeah.
And not just individual. It's really like a couple and not just husband and the wife. It's really husband and wife.
Yeah. But that's an interesting thing because I think we operate a bit differently and we don't talk to enough couples, and maybe who wants to kind of be their next guest and stuff. But like, I don't think many people look at their finances the way we do.
Yeah, that's another topic.
Yeah,
like
so
how do we actually? Because like, to put it out there, Rainer earns more than I do, and I'm very competitive. Like, very competitive. I do not want that Rainer puts more into the table than I do. Yeah. So it's also one of the questions like my friends used to ask me, like, how do you guys like
split the finances?
Yeah, split the finances.
Yeah,
considering how competitive I am, like it just doesn't sit well with me that I cannot put as much.
But why does it still not sit with you? Like, or what is your now?
Well, that's another topic.
So does it, like, all our advice?
No.
I'm kidding. Yeah.
Well, it does sit well with me because it is equal.
Yeah.
In terms of percentage.
Right?
Right.
So that's
right.
Okay.
So that's where the like
how you view your finances make a difference.
Yeah. So it's not really. I mean, it would be very unfair for me as well if, like, for example, if you earn 100 and if you earn 100 and I earn 50. And you put in 50, that doesn't mean I have to put in 50. That means nothing for me left, right?
Yeah.
So if your 50 is like 50% of yours, so that means I'll just put in 50% of mine. And that means I'm already, I shared the same amount as you did.
Yeah, I think that's very important.
Yeah.
So, and of course, there has to be, and this is probably another conversation, right? But there has to be consideration of fixed expenses. Meaning, like, I can put 50 because, like, maybe because like for me 30 is enough to live, right?
Yeah.
And like let's say 30 is enough to live for you, but you have to put 25 because 50% of 50 is 25. But in reality, you have 30K that you need to support to others. So it also doesn't make sense for you to put 25, which is my first 50%. So that's more technical, and we can talk about it in the future. But I think conceptually, what I mean is that most couples, I think, don't. I don't know what it's like, and that's something. Maybe say it in the comments or whatever. So write us a letter.
Comments.
Like, how do you track your finances with your couple? Like, are you open about how much each other? For sure, I think. Right? Or I don't know, right? So I don't know. Like, are people? Maybe let's put a poll or something on our story, and like the 2 people who watch this can vote. But like, do you?
That's awesome.
Yeah. Do you and your partner like know like what you guys earn,
and what you guys spend on,
and what you guys spend on personally? And second is, do you guys have a shared account, or is that something like you don't do? And how do you go about that?
Very interesting. Yeah.
So
next topic.
Yeah, next topic. Maybe we see if people respond, and then we can dissect it. And because like for us, our situation is we know how much we both earn. We have a shared account. We know how much we put into it. We know everything we spend shared, and even personal. We kind of talk about like what we spend on, right?
Yeah.
All right. So you see it, like you see it.
Yeah, but knowing is different from deciding.
Yeah.
Like for each other. I mean, for the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, that's a good point. So we don't decide for each other.
Yeah.
We just
I just know, but I don't tell you now. Hey, don't.
Yeah, and that's a dynamic I think other couples have. Like it's like
at least from the stories that my dad say.
I've heard some people as well. They're like, if they
kon sa asawa.
Yeah. They wanna.
Sa asawa.
Yeah, but that again, no discrimination if that works better because it works for some.
Yeah,
and
especially if like there's also like some spending problems.
Yeah.
On the other
like,
side.
For sure, and like again, this podcast is called Perspectives. So like, people have different perspectives and. It's not black or white. Like some methods will work for others, but that's what we'd like to do with this podcast, right? Is share those perspectives so people have
at least in our our story or situations or backgrounds.
Yeah, and we can share what we learn as well on the way, what others kind of like see, and we can share that. So at least because the goal is not to have one way to look at things, I think, and that's what we want to do here, which is we want to help everyone broaden what's. How we look at things, how we look personally, but also how we observe others look at things, how we hear others look at things, and just kind of understand what different perspectives people have about certain questions, right? So,
nice.
Yeah. So I think, did we answer the question?
Did we answer? Yeah. I feel like who should be earning more? Who wants to? Who wants to? And
as a
considering,
team, as a team. Right.
And especially considering the responsibilities of having a relationship and having a family, and who'll be taking care of those responsibilities.
Yeah, and having a clear. I think one thing we didn't talk about is just like having clear conversation on how the other is contributing, not monetarily. Like
the other,
acknowledging is the word. I think acknowledgement is super important. Meaning like, because without acknowledgement, both ways, it's like. You feel there's still kind of lack of communication.
Yeah.
So it's important for not only the person who's not earning as much to acknowledge, of course, like, you're earning so much, like, thank you. But also the other way. I think that's even also more important.
Amen, yeah.
That the person earning has to, don't be a bitch, don't, that one's black or white. Don't be an asshole that, I'm earning more and like, So like, you have to really see and understand how your other partner, given they are actually, putting in work and contributing, you have to not always, but you have to make sure it's clear to that partner that you are happy and that you're kind of like, you're happy or like you're contented of how they are contributing in their own ways in terms of time or whatever in the household or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Right. So the acknowledgement of both sides.
And appreciation.
Acknowledgement and appreciation of whatever that contribution looks like is super important. So it doesn't really matter, who earns more.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's it. I hope that we had the question answered. Yeah. So thank you guys so much for watching our very first episode. And if you guys have any comments, any questions that, just shoot in the comments or something.
If you guys want us to talk about something, just tell us, DM us, comment, wherever this goes live. And I guess we'll see you in the next one.
See you guys.
Peace.
Bye.